Welcome everyone to the channel. I'm Bonita from Pennies to Dollars, and I'm so glad that you joined me today. I'm early retired. I retired at 57 years and 10 months old in October of 2023. I am now 60 years old, so I've been retired a little over 2.5 years. I am enjoying it tremendously. I am not old enough yet for Social Security, so I'm living on a low income and I'm living off of savings when needed. And I just like to share my life and tips with you on how I did this and how I continue to live frugally and save money for the things that I want. So I hope you will join me as I share part of my day with you today, why I continue to save, and why early retirees can have the life of their dreams, but sometimes they need to have a few of those normal days thrown in there as well. We can't all travel and spend money every single day if we want to have the life and some of the experiences that we want. Yesterday, I met my youngest daughter, who is 32, in the city so that we could do some things that we needed to do for her wedding that's coming up in about 30 days. I paid for my other two daughters' weddings. I paid for the female portion of the wedding that is traditional. And then when my boys got married, I did help with one of those weddings. One of them eloped, one of them is not married yet. So I like to do things traditionally, old fashioned. That's just the way I am. If you watch this channel, you know that. But we met and we picked up some of the paper goods she was going to need for the dinner and for the cake and that sort of thing. And then we went and got some of her undergarments that she needed to go with her dress. These are things I did for my other daughters, and I saved for this. And my daughters are all frugal, so they're very aware of how much things cost. In fact, my youngest daughter was telling me that the average wedding right now is $36,000 for 2026. Now, we didn't spend anywhere near that for my first daughter or my second daughter. They both were very frugal. They did a lot of things themselves, their own centerpieces. My oldest daughter even did her own flower arrangements. So we did a lot of things ourselves to make our money stretch. And that is no different with this daughter. So we have been trying to pick up some things and get things ready to go for that. And that's one of the reasons that I'm frugal, is I want to be able to continue to do the things that I did when I was working for my children. I want to continue to do the traditional things. I don't want to pay for two daughters to have a wedding and not pay for the third. So that's part of my inspiration, along with the traveling and the other things that I show you on this channel that I love to do. But I also love to be at home, have some very slow, relaxing days, and do some self-sufficient practices that help build the life that I want. So I'm going to show you some of that today, and I'm also going to show you the small grocery haul that I did yesterday. Now, I picked up some things because we were already running errands. You know, I group errands like that when I'm in the city. And I went to a store where the last shopping haul I showed you, I got a 5-pound bag of mandarins for $3. This same store a week later had that same bag for $7.58. This is why we have to be so careful when we are shopping. It is a crazy, crazy time right now, and prices are just all over the place. So make sure you look at those closely when you're putting things in your cart. Now I'll show you my shopping haul next. Got a 3-pound package of onions at Aldi for $1.99. I got 2 packages of peppers for $2.25 each, and a loaf of bread for $1.45. Then at Dillon's, I got a package of 0-calorie brown sugar for my husband to try in his oatmeal, and this was $5.99 on sale. I got some skinless, boneless chicken breasts that were $2.49 a pound on sale. and a package of bacon on sale for $3.99. Then across the street at Walmart, you had to be tall enough to see on the top shelf behind the crate that these were a manager special, marked down for $1 a package. I thought that was tremendous. That was $1 each, so I got 5 of them for $5. I got some more lonely bananas, and I got 6 of these flavored tuna packets. My husband likes to take those for lunch. They were 88 cents each, and when I bought the great value kind before, he said they were good. So that's my small shopping haul this week. So far, I've spent about $2,900 on my daughter's wedding, and we have some final payments we have to make for several things before the wedding, including the venue, the photographer, the caterer. So we will have some bigger expenditures coming up, but it's still going to be a very, very affordable wedding. I saw a TikTok the other day where there was a girl crying because she had mapped out how much everything was going to cost, and it was going to be around $36,000 for her wedding. And we live in a rural area, and it is easier in some ways to find a venue that is more affordable and things like that, but it's still expensive. So shopping around for things like that is very helpful. My daughter did that to try to get the best deal and to also get a really nice experience. So I'm sure all of the guests will have no idea that this was a frugal wedding. Now, let me show you just what an average day looks like for me, because we can't all have days where we spend a bunch of money. It just wouldn't work. It doesn't matter if we're working or not working. We have to have days that are non-spending days. So I thought it might be interesting to show you what some of my days that are just average look like here at home. This is how the morning starts every day. For some reason, Yogi is super loving in the mornings when she gets to come upstairs and lay on the blankets, because she loves blankets. It's going to be a nice day today to hang clothes on the line, so I started a load of wash. And with my washing machine, the fastest cycle is a speed wash in 33 minutes. I sure miss the old washing machines that were done in 20. I started the coffee and I washed up the last few dishes while it was brewing. And I measure out my artificial sweetener and my creamer. I no longer just pour it in and try to get it right. This way it's right every single time. Now it's time to take my morning pills and start doing some editing from yesterday. Sometimes I just have to take breaks along the way because there's kitties along the way to pet. Hi, little Herbie. I'm having an exceptionally hard day today. I had a lot of cramping in the night and I was awake until about 5 a.m. dealing with that. My basil is coming up, but of course it's all clumped together, so I need to separate and transplant these little plants. I'm growing my own for the first time this year to make basil pesto instead of getting it from my daughter and my stepdaughter. So I'm excited. It already smells so fragrant. I'm reusing my little yogurt jars to transplant them inside for now. Now we just have to pray that they are happy with the move. Today I'm going to harvest some of the greens off of my green onions that I planted at the beginning of the season. I had them growing inside of the house, and I'm going to chop those up and use them in some dishes and freeze the rest. I read somewhere that if you leave one green top on the onions, that they'll keep growing the greens. And that's what I've been doing, but my daughter says that she just cuts them all down to the bottom and that they keep growing. Let me know if you do either one of these methods and what works for you. Now I'm going to trim these down, chop them up, use the cutting board that my daughter made me for Christmas. Isn't that amazing? And the other side has sparkles on it. And I'm going to reuse a bag from my freezer that is empty, and we're going to freeze up these onion tops for cooking. Now I'm taking out the compost in one of my reusable water jugs. That was a distilled water jug from my husband's CPAP machine. We just cut them off and used them as compost by the sink. I have coffee grounds, banana peels, all kinds of things in there, and we are going to just throw that into our garden. We use everything we possibly can. We don't have trash pickup. And we don't have a garbage disposal. Now I'm just getting around to hanging the clothes on the line. This is one of my favorite tasks, even though I do have some difficulty with it sometimes. I absolutely love being outside. I love doing things for myself that will save me money. This is something that I remember my mother doing when I was under 5 years old. She was hanging clothes on the line when we still lived at the farm in a 2-story house. We moved away when I was 5 years old to another house where we had to drive back and forth to the farm to take care of the cows and everything. But I still remember her hanging clothes on the line, and it's one of my favorite memories that I have from back then. And I don't know what it is about doing things for yourself and knowing that you are buying your own freedom in a sense. That's how I look at it. I look at it as I'm buying my own freedom by doing some of these things that might cost me money if I used the dryer or if I used another means of doing this. And I have no problem with that because having free time, not setting an alarm, being able to do what I want to do every single day, even if it's gardening and hanging clothes on the line, I am fine with that because I can do what I want at my own pace. I remember my grandma always saying, don't let the night air hit your clothes. And a lot of times that would be because it would get damp again at night. And then if you didn't get your clothes off the line, they were damp and you had to wait for them to dry once the sun hit them. But sometimes I don't get them off the line the same day that I put them on the line. It just depends on how I am feeling and if I'm able to do it or not. I do have some limitations and I try not to push myself too hard because then sometimes I have a 2 or 3 day recovery time if I have. And today I've shown you a lot. Today I have pushed myself really hard to get some things done and I still have a lot of things on my list to do. I know people will ask, what do you do in retirement? Don't you get bored? No, I never get bored. I have plenty to do, plenty of things I want to do, and I can't always get a lot of them done on the same day. So then there's still things for me to do tomorrow. Now I am showing you that I'm doing laundry on the line, but we only do laundry about 2 loads a week. Once in a while, 3 if I'm doing bedding, but usually it's only around 2 loads a week. So this doesn't have to be done every day like when we still had a family at home. I would be curious to know how many loads of laundry you do each week and how many people are in your house. Now, when I grew up, we had our own color-coded towel, our own rack to air dry our towel, and we washed them once a week. My husband and I do the same thing. Today's lunch is just going to be a simple turkey roll-up with some lettuce from the garden, some mustard, some avocado, and a piece of Swiss cheese. Now it's time to get online and pay some of my brother's bills, who is in the nursing home. For supper tonight, I had fish with some garlic salt on it, with some fried potatoes and Brussels sprouts with a little sprinkle of Parmesan cheese. Thank you for watching today. I hope you have enjoyed this video as much as I did making it for you. I hope that it has given you some inspiration that inflation is always going to be there, but living our best life and doing what we can to manage it while we're still enjoying our best quality of life ever, it is possible through frugal living. Thanks for listening today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.